Hey, good evening. Hope that this message finds you in awesome spirits and that you're doing well. So, here we are. We have our peer review workshop for the Entertainment as Political paper this week. Now, I graded your brainstorms, and I do recognize and saw that it's really quite difficult to pick up on the nuances of textual analysis, but I'm certain that this week's peer review workshop is going to help with that, alongside the guiding questions that I prepared to help you out throughout this workshop. One of the main things that I saw throughout the brainstorm is that in the thesis statement, some of you would just select denotative details to list, like, okay, here is what happens in this story, this, that, and the third. But remember that this is a textual analysis, so that it's calling for you to move from denotative details to connotative implication. So from denotation to connotation, considering things like indirect suggestions and social cultural overtones, and even meanings of symbolisms. And one of the biggest ways to really unearth something is to kind of get to a point where you want to reach the golden nugget. Like, okay, this work, this text, like, what is it about? What is the larger message of it? What is the theme of it? So bear that in mind. Remember, the thesis has to be grounded upon connotation. Let's get into our peer review workshop, into the logistics of it. So here we go. Let me go a little bit smaller and let's enter our peer review workshop. And all right, make this go here. Very cool. So here are the logistics. We're already 3 workshops in. Wow, how this semester is moving by, huh? So the rough draft is going to be at least 2 pages, just like we've been doing. Is going to be due by this Wednesday, which is October 28th, and that's by 11:59 p.m. So as usual. Then your feedback, as usual, is going to be due by Sunday, November 1st. Wow, we're entering a new month. By 11:59 p.m. And just like the other times, the Canvas system is going to automatically give you your 3 drafts to look at immediately 1 minute after this deadline. So it's going to give it to you on Monday, November 2, 12 a.m. So yeah, just like we've been doing. Now let's talk about the workshop questions. Okay, so come Monday the 2nd of November, you will be given your drafts. And something, if you are, for example, like maybe forgetting how to open your drafts or how to even find them, I actually had an announcement about that. Here we go, accessing peer review. So check out that video, check out that announcement. It's a helpful guide there. So let's get back to it. This mic is so good, it picks up everything that's happening in the house. It's called Blue Yeti. I do recommend Blue Yeti. It's a good one. All right, so let's get back into this. Let's get back into our questions. So when you get your drafts, here's the first thing that I want you to do. I'm going to want you to highlight your classmate's draft. Okay, so highlight it. Sorry. Oh no, don't highlight the draft. Highlight the thesis. Okay, so highlight the thesis, and then does their thesis make it clear what their chosen cultural artifact is? Okay, here's something. Remember, when we say cultural artifact, we're talking about an actual text, right? A constructed artifact that carries meaning. So a cultural artifact, I know it could sound a little misleading, but at the end of the day, it's a text. So it's not, it's not a TV set. It's not an object. It's not a shirt or anything like that. No, it's an actual text, like a painting or a mural or an episode or a movie or a music video, things like that. So does the thesis, make it clear what their chosen cultural artifact is, their text for this paper? Is their cultural artifact sufficiently narrow? So are they choosing all the Twilight Zone series or one episode? Are they choosing all the Simpsons series or one episode? Remember, the idea is to choose one episode, one singular focus, okay? Because then if not, it gets too rough. Um, okay, so here is I have a really awesome hint for you for crafting theses for this paper. So here's a good model. What I like to do for these textual analyses, I like to think of, okay, well, what's the larger message or theme of this artifact? Let's say in your picture book, you guys did the Sneetches, right? And you saw how a lot of it was about, it was a message against the attitudes of prejudice and or even elitism, if you will. Others of you actually caught on to the vilification of the capitalist tycoon, just making a profit off of the insecurities of the Sneetches. And speaking of that, I also thought of the beauty industry too, how like trends come and go. Okay, fall, yellow's in, or spring, here's the color, that last color's out, and then it's always changing, which I always thought, like, oh, just like that scene in the Sneetches where the star's coming on, the star's coming off. So it's like the trends were changing back and forth. So it's like as you're creating your thesis and as you're looking at these for your classmate, like I said, here's a good potential model to work with. What's the larger message or theme of your artifact? Okay, so maybe the larger message in the Sneetches you're going to say is like the importance of being respectful to everybody and there being equality and how having a prejudiced attitude is problematic and divisive. Okay, if that's the larger message that you unearthed from your text, from your cultural artifact, then cool. That's step one in your thesis. You want to focus on that. Start with that. Say what it is that you unearthed. The next one is, how does your artifact reflect this? So you've made the claim about how your text reflects this larger message. So how is it in the text that we see this reflected? Like, how does the text do it? So that would be your support in that case for the thesis. Okay, so after that, here's a big one. Don't just leave it there. Then it's implications, which is the so what question. Okay, I might say something like. I might start my thesis by saying like, the human heart is given to folly, and part of the imperfections of being human comes sometimes divisive attitudes of arrogance. And then you could say something like, along those lines comes, notions of prejudice. This is problematic and divisive in any society because rather than uniting, it's dividing its citizens. Okay, fine. So you see what I just did? I just came in directly with what the larger message or theme is, or like what it is that I'm going to be claiming in my paper. And then after I've introduced that, then I'm going to say this reminder against prejudiced attitudes is showcased in Dr. Seuss's cartoon, The Sneetches. And I might say the year that it came out. And so you see, that's this part. That's the how does the artifact reflect this. So I came in straight with the larger message or theme. And then how does my artifact reflect this? Okay. And then I don't just leave it there. Okay, that's it. No. I say, I answer the so what question, which is the implications. If there are any connections to real life, like that helps answering the so what question. And you can say, just say like why that message is important, why it matters, Don't just leave it there. Okay, so I can say, an attitude of respect towards others that embraces equality is a most constructive attitude, and ultimately helps people get together helps people get along, helps people get along and build towards a brighter future and a brighter tomorrow, or something like that. See how I've connected it to like real life, because that's the thing about text. That's the thing about cultural artifacts, is that there was a pressing reason as to why the creator of the text came up with it, right? There was an exigency to create something that was burning within them, that they wanted to get out. Okay, so you want to answer this. You want to answer that so what question. So again, what's the larger message or theme? Like the main thing that you unearthed from your text. So what is it? That's why I have this in capital letters. And then how does your artifact reflect it? Okay. So is it through the characters? Is it through the colors? Is it through like how a conflict is resolved within your text? Like how is it? How does it reflect it? Because you don't just make a claim and just leave it hanging. No. You support it. You follow it up with evidence. Okay. And then this is a big one. This makes for stronger writing, addressing the implications. Okay. And it goes to this. Does their thesis offer reasons to support their claim? Okay, which is this. How does the artifact reflect this? So don't just make the claim and just leave it hanging. Say how it reflects it. Is their thesis... Oh, this is huge. I was talking about what I saw in the brainstorm. So is their thesis grounded upon connotation? Remember, denotation is surface level meaning. Connotation is deeper level meaning. So remember that in order to unearth deeper level meaning, we are bearing into we're bearing in mind things like indirect suggestion. That's the avenue through which we are arriving at a connotative conclusion, right? Indirect suggestion, social cultural overtones, meanings of symbols, connections to real life, connections to history, connections to current events. And you know what does this a lot? Satire does this a lot. Things like South Park or Simpsons or SNL, they did the sketch about the debate. So like a lot of times they do that, and you're tying those threads together. It's like, oh wow, like that has a lot to say with that has a connection to real life. And the other one obviously is representation. So how is that real life detail represented, whether it's a historical moment or something in society or in an economy or a trend or something. Okay, so ground your thesis upon that, not upon denotation. Remember, saying, okay, in The Lion King, the story is about a cub called Simba who is born from the king called Mufasa, and then it's Simba's path to become king, but then unfortunately Mufasa dies and he meets Timon and Pumbaa and he's still trying to find himself. It's like, wait, why are you telling me this? Like, don't just enumerate plot points. Instead, you have to unearth a larger nugget, right? A deeper connotative conclusion, and then you assert that as your thesis. Okay, so this is a good little model to follow for that. And if you're seeing this in your classmates' draft, like, yo, you're just enumerating plot points, don't do that. Like in this essay, which is a textual analysis, when we mention a plot point, we are doing so with the object purpose of supporting what it is that we are claiming as our larger thesis, right? So there's a point to it. And that's the big temptation for this essay. The big temptation is just giving me the whole plot point of your selected what's it called, Black Mirror, of your selected Black Mirror episode. Like, you just tell me everything that happens, but you don't tell me like, what the larger message is or what the theme is, or like any connections to real life and how that was represented in the episode and why that matters. Answering the so what question, then just listing plot points is useless, and that's much weaker writing. So yes, you bring in plot points, but to support your larger thesis, your larger claim, which is grounded upon connotation, which is the whole point of our textual analysis lesson. So remember that, and that's why this peer review workshop is especially important, because I get it, textual analysis is rough because it's a different way of thinking. So there's that. The conclusion, how's that looking if they've gotten their Remember that with the conclusion, we are it's literally the ultimate takeaway for the reader. So upon saying that, we can reaffirm, the point of our paper, and reaffirm the implications. The so what? Here's why it matters. You just finished reading this. Here's why it matters. Here's what you can do with this now that you take this away, right? If there's a works cited page, obviously they need one in ACB and MLA because obviously since they're working with a text, right? And at the very least, that needs to be in there alongside any other sources that they may use. Okay, so that's what we have for this week in terms of entertainment as political. If you have questions about how to actually work the tools that are allotted to you by Canvas, then revisit the video of the first peer review workshop that we did. That's where I explained how to use the tools. So with that being said, go forth and write. Go forth and enjoy your workshop. And like Miss Frizzle from the Magic School Bus used to say, take chances, make mistakes, get messy. All right, see you guys.